Hey guys, it's Max. I'm here with some of the guys who've received Wave 1, so going to give you guys a little bit of feedback from them and some of the initial thoughts and just feedback that we've had from these guys. They've had their cases for a little while, so I've got Sanket and I've got Chris with me here. So yeah, we'll start with Chris. We've got a pod here. Tell us about how you've enjoyed the system so far.
So compared to what I generally use, which is a standard foam case, a lot more secure for models, makes it a lot easier to transport stuff around. As you can see, you've got vast variety just within the pod itself. There's only 6 space in it, so it's a little bit smaller than your 12 case one, which we can show you later. But you still fit plenty of stuff in there. The ease of getting units that would generally break in a foam case.
Yeah, you got some pretty long spears in there and fairly delicate items.
So a lot of the spears and stuff, which are a lot longer than most general models, which if you had them in a foam case, you know, the spears might break in half, like as an example. They kind of just sit nicely.
Yeah.
See, there's no overhang, no nothing. So
yes,
the chance of breakage is a lot less than what you'd find in a standard foam case if you're trying to transport something like that around.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess the thing with those particular types of models too is like once the spears break, it's a nightmare of a job to try and delicately repair something like that.
Yeah,
and it's pinning or it's a whole other set of activities.
It's a lot of effort to try and fix something that if you just have a good case for it, you wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Avoiding the breakage to begin with is generally the better approach. Awesome. Well, yeah. So you were previously using like a Citadel's type of
yeah,
foam
so
case?
using a Citadel case, I've had a few different types of foam cases, but it's the same thing over and over where you'll kind of, you put something in there and if it's not secure enough, it's just going to break with the force from trying to get it closed and everything.
Yes. Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, we've got a range of different modules in here. Looks like we have some 40s here and then some 32s. We've got some oval bases and then some extra 32s at the end there. That's quite a mix. And as you can see, you've done an excellent job of these guys. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so do you want to show us your 12 plus case?
Yeah, let's go through that now.
Yeah.
So it's a 12 plus I've got here. I bought it to replace a bunch of Citadel cases. Similar case. Fragile models in foam don't really last well. And I had so many models, I ended up actually starting using shoe boxes to store them in with foam. It's just a cheaper solution. But then found out about these, bought this, and now I can actually consolidate everything. I've actually turned this case into my workbench case as well. So it actually has my airbrush in there, which I'll show you, my pliers as well. A lot of my painting equipment stored in the top, some paints, and the models I'm working on. For today as well, I've actually put in a couple of other models in there to demonstrate how modular it is and how you can just add army pieces into something like this when I need it without having to do too much effort or work.
Yep.
Unlike previously where I'd be carrying a bunch of cases around, one full of paints, one with some painting gear in it, and another couple of ones that had army that was in progress and the army that was finished. So
yeah,
I'll open that now.
Yeah, let's open it up. So we'll just, you can put that one to the side just for a second. Yeah, anyway. Awesome. So
I'll tilt this up a little bit.
yeah.
So as you can see, I've got my paint stacked against the front wall there. The models are work in progress along the top, and then going through, I've got other models that are actually complete as well. What I might take out now is a little tool that I found with the case after having it for a little while. Did you want to talk about it though?
Oh yeah, just briefly. So guys, in your cases, there's something that's a little bit subtle, and that is that this little tool here, some people have not realized that this is a removable tool, and that's so that you can get into certain sections where you might not want to be putting your whole hand and potentially damaging a piece. So these little parts here have a little tab that allows you to insert this tool, and you can just use this to turn this like so, and once you do that, pieces can come out. So this whole tray can slide out, and you've actually done something quite creative that I'll let you
I ended up using the vehicle clips they offer for their non-standard base sizes and made it so that it actually holds my airbrush fairly securely. Never had a problem with it falling out while I'm moving anywhere, and also my pliers at the bottom of the same shelf. For releasing it, it's pretty nifty and sweet. You just undo the tabs on one side, airbrush comes out, you can use it. When I'm done with it, put it back in its case, and it locks straight back in without a problem to be carried around again.
Yeah.
It's a similar shelf used for like the larger model sizes as well. I need somewhere to carry that and figured this would work.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's kind of cool to see because we've not usually we've reserved the Open Mechi set for use for irregular base sizes or vehicles and the like, but you've put your clippers as well as the airbrush in there, and it's kind of cool to see some more of the extended accessories being able to be hosted by the Open Mechi system. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing. I'm pretty happy how it turned out.
Yeah, and you've actually done. We'll do some B-roll of this, but you've done some pretty interesting configuration as far as getting the blood. This is a bloodthirster, yes.
Yes.
It is, I thought so. Yeah, we are. Yeah. The bloodthirster here in the
Till that back up.
the spell token. They're spell tokens, yeah. Or what are they called again?
Spells, yeah.
Endless
Sorry.
spell.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much just to get it all to fit in there, with how modular the actual bases are and where you can clip different things onto the empty shelves that come with it, managed to move it around so that I can have a large model with the other accessories and stuff on the back shelf, the bottom of the shelf and on the back wall as well. It's really great because I'm using if it was just any other case, you'd have a lot of empty space there. So being able to use that empty space and put other things in there just made it so much easier and just makes sense.
Yeah, we've got some pieces mounted this way and other pieces mounted on the backboard, and it's quite an interesting mix of just, with large wings and stuff like this, you're getting quite a lot of extra density in there, so that's really cool. Yeah, awesome. And we've also got, on the front of the case here, actually some areas that are dedicated for the display windows, but if you guys wanted to, you could actually, fill those in with just pure density if you wanted to get a lot more in there, but it's really, really cool to see such a unique hybrid build here.
It's really easy as well. So normally I only have one window to show off the bigger the piece that it's for, really.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the other ones would still be the mesh type with extra shells built into it.
Yep.
And then I'll use those for other models that are being worked on or carrying more parts of the army.
Yeah, awesome. All right, yeah. I think, so we got some examples of different models here at the front, guys, as well. So we'll go through some of those. We'll close this one back up. Yeah, this is really quite an impressive example of the 12 plus. Just make sure we lock this one off. Let's put this one down for a second. Alrighty. So, I guess, would you like to talk about these guys?
Yeah, so
first?
the spears that we were talking about earlier, you can see that there's no real overhang. Everything fits in there nicely. The chance of breakage, as I said, there's a lot less chance of anything breaking, especially with that spear being so long compared to the rest of the model.
It does require a little bit of strategic positioning initially to make sure that...
There's a little bit of finesse getting everything lined up, but once it's lined up and locked in, there's no issues with it.
Yeah, well, I collect I know them as Dark Eldar, but Drukhari now.
Yeah.
But, the stuff like this, it often gets caught, and it's just, we've gone through it, it's a nightmare to repair, so... It's a really good example of a particularly tricky piece. The other one that comes to mind is the Urukai spears. They're not so good. Oh. Very, very thin little spear poles. So here we've got, do you want to show this one? This is a...
Yeah. So this is in the larger base as well. It's really... Don't do that one. There we go. The little tool that comes in it. Yeah, it's usually stored aside for that. It's just really easy to store it in there.
We break it. Just a little bit of a turn there. There we go.
Perfect. So it's just really easy. This is like one of the modular bases I'd used to carry the to put up against the back wall and stuff as well. Just a couple of screws, holds it in there, and then you can put any model that fits in the base in there as well.
Yeah, this is I believe the 100mm round Monster Mechi. So that's I'm sure a lot of you guys have included one of those in your pledge if you got some 100mm round bases.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get a bit of everything actually. And yeah, it's really good. Like I said, no issues with any of this stuff. It works well. It keeps the model safe. None of the banners on the back aren't going to snap or anything. Not worried about that because the foam's not getting in the way, and it's fairly sturdy too. So few of the locks on.
It always makes people a little bit nervous that.
Yeah.
That it's designed
I trust it,
for
and I still had my hand underneath it. So yeah, human nature.
Yep. Yeah. And so we got some of these fellas here, some 40mm. They're looking pretty excellent. Is this some Havocs? Or?
Yeah, some Havocs from.
Yeah, nice. And these are your ones?
Yeah, so I've painted all these up. Again, like with the case, obviously larger models, harder to store with the guns being so long. So just that ability to even just undo, just flip this guy around a little bit,
Yes.
and then you got everything's back in line. There's nothing overhanging.
Yes.
Nothing's gonna break off. And then you got something like the hero one over here. Where if you don't have the room on there for a 5th model, and you do have a little bit of mesh or something left over, you can just kind of just clip him in. Easy enough to put him in there. A few screws.
Yep.
He'll go in there, and he's solid as a rock, ready to go.
The thing with these singles too, which really cool, is that like, you know, in that case that we just saw, there was a display window with a base plate here, and the cool thing is that you can have your iconic hero very much put prominently on display in a display window that really looks awesome, where you might not want him, even though there might be room on an extra Mechi Max module. The Mechi Max module is really good for density, but if you're trying to go for that display and you've got an iconic guy, it may make sense to go for a single for that kind of a purpose. And actually, show us what you did here with the terrain, because this is an example of Open Mechi here.
Yeah, so for the terrain, it was it's a similar sort of system we can use for large vehicles,
Yep.
and for the airbrush too. So it's got one of the spring-loaded clamps there,
Yep.
pretty much to like rubber bungs at the back to lock it in.
Little anchors. Yep.
That's it, and then clip that in, and you're done. It just
Yep.
locks up. That's not going anywhere either.
Yeah, excellent. Well, the thing is, with stuff like this particular piece, because you don't have a base or anything of the sort, that's where Open Mechi can really come in handy. And it's a sort of a catch-all system in that regard, because you can position these anywhere on the mesh, and that allows you to really get an exact fit for a strange piece like this one. So yeah, it's a really good example. This guy here is incredibly delicate. What is this piece?
It is one of the wind spirits from the Luminous range.
Yep.
Again, something that in a standard case, you're not getting that in your standard foam case.
Well, you're not getting him back out.
Well,
You could put him in.
You could put him in, and he's not coming back out the same way he went in. So just that ability to have him sitting on his own little pedestal,
Yep.
lock him into the case, and then you've got no worry about him
Yes.
going anywhere, even with that delicate spiral,
Yes.
that in any other case would just fall apart. Really.
Yeah. No, it's. I mean, they're beautiful pieces, but like, they're so. I mean, the sculpts these days. I mean, I remember when everything was like this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and these days they're beautiful,
Fancier
but
and
they are
fancier.
they're not designed for the old format of the foam and that. I think. Yeah, it would be so easy. You can just see the delicate nature of it. Yeah, that's excellent. And so, what do we got on this last module here?
So
We'll
just
do it.
just some reavers on the last one.
Yep.
Built up.
Flag bearers.
Flag
Yeah,
bearer, little
cool.
guys. Again, like it's the same with any of the modules. Everything fits on there nicely.
Yep.
Yeah, you've got room for the bases are a bit more built up, so
Mhm.
you've got room for the built up bases still. Everything's locked in. You know, nothing's going anywhere. We're not worried about anything breaking, and it'll just fit into any of the cases perfectly fine.
Yeah, so I would say one thing you've done really well here, and it's something to be, I guess, mindful of, guys, is that with these built-up bases, you've done a really good job of keeping your original base circumference pretty much
Yeah.
uninterrupted, and then you've built a nice little platform above them. And I'd suggest anyone that's wanting to use our system, the only thing is that unless you want to use a magnetic tray or something of the sort, do keep your original base circumference still circular. Otherwise, our system you might need to use Open Mechi or magnetic module or something else. But here you've actually shown a really good example
Yeah.
of how to base a more intricate base and still work with our locking mechanism. So that's really awesome. That's excellent. Yeah, we'll show you guys some B-roll of everything so you can see. But yeah, thank you very much. And we'll be providing you guys further updates as we go. And great to hear from both Sanket and Chris. So we had some questions that, Sanket, you've had some community members
Yes.
put some stuff forward.
Some of the Kickstarter members had questions they'd like to get answered. I think there's one which I'll keep to the end, which is burning on everyone's mind. But the first two, which were really interesting, are there any colours in particular you're having problems with?
Unfortunately, it's purple. We have had a whole lot of supply issues getting purple metal in particular.
Okay.
Just the anodizing quality we're quite fussy with, and we've had a bit of batch issues. So we're really we're really sorry. We know that purple is definitely something that we've had a lot of interest in, and a lot of people have asking us, when can we get an update on that? We are actually hoping that this is actually very much coming to an end, and that purple will be back in stock. But we have had some supply issues with purple, and that has rippled through a little bit to even just batch production and other stuff. So
Fair enough.
I'd say purple has been a bit of a thing. Even little things like some of the black that we got done, it came in sort of a little bit in a brown tinge at one point. So there has been a little bit of quality control assurance that we've had to be quite aware of. But certainly we want all of the colours to remain quite consistent, and so we're just being a little bit aware of that. But purple unfortunately has been a bit of a supply issue.
Yeah,
for us.
fair enough. Okay. And the second question that was burning on everyone's mind is, are there any particular case sizes that are causing problems for both shipping and then just putting them together?
So I would say that problems is perhaps what we have decided, especially with the larger format cases, and that's in particular the 24, was that the loading considerations, when you start to consider doing some stuff like you've done here by putting in some heavier modules that include, say, paints or the magnetic modules, we really did most of our testing on what we see here behind me, this Crimson Fist Force, which is quite impressive, but it is mostly plastic. And so there has been a redesign, and we'll be diving into the redesign of the 24 in a later update. We'll show you guys the full comprehensive what we've done there. But the truth is that the 24 has seen delays because we've actually largely improved the case.
Okay.
So at this point, no 24 module cases have been shipped, and that's because of the redesign. We really are trying to get ahead of that, but it's something that, being the largest pledge and the biggest case that we offer, we really don't want return issues or quality issues with that case having issues in the field. And so it really is important for us to reconsider, do a re-evaluation and a bit of a redesign loop, which is what we've done, but that has resulted in some delays. So I'd say of all the case sizes, the 24 has seen some delays as a result. But I think at the end of the day, though, it's going to be a better product for everyone, and a lot of people have pledged for the 24 module case. So we've done a I think the right thing there.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's good to hear. And the last and the biggest question of them all.
Yep.
Wave 1 and shipping updates, but I'm expecting that'll be something that'll hopefully get addressed, noting that it is a bigger issue overall.
We're a little bit wary at this point of setting something definitive, because we definitely did that at the start of the campaign. We set a deadline. We had no idea how many orders we were dealing with before launching the campaign. That is the nature of Kickstarter. To put it in perspective, our previous Kickstarter raised only 8% of what this Kickstarter has, and as a result, our original timelines, we based it largely on maybe double the size of our previous Kickstarter, but we didn't anticipate a 92% increase, and so that just it flows on to our timelines and everything else. Shipping wise, the carriers are saying that shipping starts to reopen come January. We will be giving you guys ongoing updates as we go, based on what is feasible. We do have to be wary of just how much is involved, and so we're going to give you guys as much of an update as we can and as much transparency as we can. But we are still getting through the batch manufacture, and as a result, we're just not willing to at this point set a very definitive
fair enough.
date.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
But that's basically how we're doing things. So
Sweet.
yeah.
No, that's it. Well, it's good to hear answers